TheChanClan is cooking today, and we are smoking brisket and smoking some pork shoulder. This came about after going to a food truck and paying $25 a pound for brisket, realizing that it's $3.49 a pound, and pork shoulder, pulled pork, is $1.49 a pound at Costco. So we're overpaying upwards to 10 to 20 times. So we decided to go get ourselves a smoker and do it ourselves. This is the Weber Smokey Mountain. This is the 18-inch model, kind of in between. It has a dual layer rack. This was just self-assembled, but you have 2 racks, water pan on the bottom for cooking, for smoking, and then your charcoal basket. Assembly took about 15 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill this up with coals. We're going to start some coals up, put this together, get the meat on, and we'll see how this adventure pans out, our first smoking adventure. Okay, so we have a 12 pound, actually 11.5 pound USDA prime brisket, and then also a pork shoulder that's 15 pounds. So we're just going to season the brisket with a little bit of Worcestershire, I can never say it right, Worcestershire sauce. And then also some coarse ground, locally sourced Hawaiian sea salt, and some coarse black pepper. We'll coat that. And then for the pork shoulder, I was thinking of using perhaps one of our Weber rubs. Otherwise, we could just do something like salt and pepper as well. Let's get these slathered up. Okay, there's our brisket rubbed. 2 parts black pepper to 1 part salt. Go heavy on that black pepper as that forms a nice crust. A little lighter on the coarse salt. Ended up using the Weber dry smoking rub that we had around for the pork shoulder. Nice even thin coat around this shoulder. We'll put this on the bottom rack just so that these flavors don't end up dripping on the brisket, but I'm okay if the brisket, salt, and pepper drip on here. So let's get this all loaded up and see how our briquettes are doing. Okay, the briquettes are hot. We have our water pan stacked up here. So we have our first rack that goes down here. And that's where we're going to put our first roast over here. Down in there. So let's get that put in there. You can see how that nicely fits there, and we'll accommodate a second rack down here, right above. We'll go ahead and put the brisket on top of that. So now we have the brisket laid out on the Weber Smokey Mountain 18-inch here. You can see that barely fits, so don't want to get anything too long. And we have the pork shoulder sitting underneath it there. So we'll just get this up to temperature and throw on some wood chips, and the waiting games begin. So temperature is registering 225, which is a perfect smoking temperature, and that's what we're looking for. So it's a good time for us to kind of keep it steady here, keep our vents kind of configured to keep this temperature for the next 12 to 16 hours. We're going to throw on some soaked wood chips. We have hickory wood today that's been soaking in a little water. Highly recommend wearing some gloves. These are barbecue leather gloves. That's going to keep me from burning myself. So grab this Smokey Mountain. It has a little vent here. You can see the base of here right underneath those briquettes. So what we're going to do is just get some of these wood chips in there to add some smoke. As they burn down. So you can get bigger chunks. This is the Weber brand. I'm not too excited as far as where they go. If we can spread it out, it'd be better, but they should burn. And as they burn, they'll make more hickory smoke. We got a whole bag of those just in case we need more. We'll put those in. That should be plenty. Get that nice hickory smoke flavor. You can even see our pork butt as it's smoking here already. So let's hurry up and close this up before we lose all our temperature. Got some of that hickory wood in there. And we'll close this up. Give it a couple hours and see what happens. Oh buddy, it's almost 17 hours later, and we are finally taking the wraps off of our brisket. We've got a digital meat thermometer here. Brisket greater than 165, but not so much the temperature in here. You want to make sure that, you know, this thing is almost falling apart, and you can feel that the texture of this is just slides right in there without any resistance. So this is leaking some juices. We want to wrap this up and let it rest for a couple hours, but this is more than ready. And you can just tell how soft and pliable this is, just without any resistance that is going in. Don't want to make too many holes in there. I'm going to lose all the juices here. Brisket is done. Pork shoulder under there looks probably good as well. So let's take a look at how that is after we wrap up this brisket. But you can see how the Smokey Mountain had to restoke the coals last night. But you can see we're still got embers even after a night where we had, gosh, I stoked these at about 10 o'clock, so 8 hours later, still have some embers glowing. Temperature was still about 200 this morning, and the water pan is still 3/4 of the way full, and it helps temper some of that heat. So we'll take this off, we'll rest it. Should be pretty yummy today. Here's a pork butt. This was a little heavier, so I think we're going to let this keep going for a little bit more, just because it is about 181 right now. The sides of the roast are pretty soft, but the right in the middle is still a little, it could use a little more time, let's put it that way. So we're going to let this go a little longer on the Smokey Mountain here, so it's fork tender. I just tested that a little bit here. It's a little hard still, so. All right. I just couldn't wait. Wanted to cut in here and see how this is. And you see there's a nice little pink smoke ring. Meat is really easy to peel apart here. I'm gonna try one of the burn ends here. You can see how the color, the smoke, pinkness there on the brisket. Nice and tender, has a nice little bark. Awesome.